You're listening to
The Classroom Collaborative
podcast with your hosts, Deedee Wills
and Rock
and Adam Peterson.
Here we go.
We're so glad you're here.
Let's get started. This episode of the Classroom Collaborative podcast is sponsored by a live studio zoo. Need to increase student engagement or improve student outcomes? Then let us tell you about our sponsor. Alive Studios uses 3D augmented reality animals to create magical learning adventures for kids. Learning the foundations for reading and math while interacting with the 26 zoo animals will have your pre-K or kindergarten classroom squealing with excitement. They even have apps for mobile devices so kids can make the animals come alive at home. I've personally been using their products in my classroom for years, and I can say for certain that my kids loved it. Be sure to check out alivestudiozoo.com to join all the fun. Their programs are also great for language learners, special needs, and at-risk intervention. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I am Adam Peterson.
Hello. I'm Deedee Wills.
Good to see you, Deedee. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just busy, like you. I know you are as well. And it's interesting how, like, I've worked from home for the past 2 years now. You worked from home for a while.
Right.
It's different though when we're not traveling, doing work on the road. But now. Right. Don't get me wrong. I love having my family home, but it's busier too because trying to help the kids with their at-home learning, and then Trish and I have been trying to collab on. Really, she's just been doing an awesome job with her students, and I've been trying to help where I can. But it's all this distance stuff is kind of making the work from home people work almost harder because we have to get more of it out there, right?
Right. I mean, for sure. We don't have the mental breaks that we normally would by going and doing some leisure activity outside, like, oh, let's just go walk the mall or let's go out to dinner. I mean, those are things that are not happening, and they're not happening for the right reasons, right? I'm not complaining that we have to do that. It's just that the ebb and flow of our life has been kind of put in a blender a little bit.
You a big mall walker, are you?
Am I a big mall walker? Well, I get those really big, white tennis shoes, right? And I just walk real fast, and I put like little weights in my hand. No, I don't. But, that is something that, Mark and I'll do. We'll just kind of, I don't know, we'll go into a shop and just window shop or whatever.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a hard time. It's funny.
I'm not that geriatric yet. Not yet.
I was at the store this morning, and it's funny how when you say it's affecting the ebb and flow of life. I think I was getting toothpaste for the kids or something, and I could hear this voice of an older gentleman like talking to an older lady, and he was saying he's like, "You here to walk?" And she goes, "No, I'm getting in and out." And he goes, well, I wanted to walk outside, but I got to come in because it's kind of cold here. I'm like, man, that can't happen. Like, you've got to stop doing that. Like, that's the hardest part about this is just, I mean, it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be because we've been enjoying family time like crazy. And I know we've both been staying busy, but like you said, just knowing that you can't just pick up and go do something or pick up and just go do your everyday routine. It is a little bit harder, but there's been some awesome things going on in the world of education as well. I know I know you've been working like crazy to help teachers and parents, so I need to applaud you for that.
You see the bags? You see the bags under my eyes? Woo!
I don't know how you do it. You have been nonstop going, so I'm glad to see you're still smiling. But really, I hope you know that means a lot to teachers, and I know that they give you all kinds of feedback. But
they do. They've been so wonderful.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I've been trying my best to do the same, but really,
you have.
Shout out to all the educators out there. I mean, I've been seeing so many awesome things go across social media in the realm of video, just posts and emails. We're going to talk about a lot of those today, I know. So I guess that's what it's about is how do we keep this going? Because now here in Illinois, I don't know about Colorado, Deedee, but in Illinois, schools are out until at least May 1st. I know a lot of schools in other states have shut down for the year. So this is not something that's going away. Distance learning is here for at least the next few months.
I suspect we're going to be in this mode for at least the next 30 days. And then I would be surprised if we did come back together before the school year, was officially over. I just feel that, our governor did a great job of shutting down everything pretty pretty early, and you can already start to see those effects. So
Right.
even though it makes it hard, at the same time, what's hard is losing a family member. That's hard, right? Staying at home with the people that you love, it's hard. No, I'm kidding. No, but I mean, it's we're like, can you just go outside for a little bit? It's hard, but certainly losing somebody that you love, no. I mean, there's just no comparison.
Right.
Not having an income, it's really hard. For some people, I know that's a reality. But then, losing a loved one, certainly, it just puts everything in perspective, I guess.
It
You know what I
does.
mean?
Yeah.
It
No,
does.
we're gonna make it work. It's gonna, and it's not going away. That's the thing people need to
No.
realize. Like all the naysayers at the beginning who were like, it's just a flu. Like it's not going anywhere. And I was actually on the way home this morning. So when we're recording this, if you guys are listening to this at a later date, it is April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. Like,
Hey,
hey, I should have played a prank on you this morning.
Dang it.
It's
Lost
April
opportunity.
1st, 2020. We are in the midst of this uncertain time of COVID-19 and the worldwide
Right.
pandemic. But I was on the way home from the grocery store, and I did not go to buy toilet paper. We needed groceries, everybody. And the DJ on the radio said, I was listening to satellite radio, and I think it was, I don't know if it was 90s on 9 or what it was. He said, if you're in a state where you haven't been stay-at-home ordered yet, then do yourself the favor of just doing that anyway, and do everybody else the favor of doing that anyway, and try to limit contact as much as possible. And then he said, if you are in one of those states, you can vouch for this, that it's really not that hard. And it's not like, you can still go outside and walk. You can still go around your backyard and play games. You can still, you can still take a ride in your car if you need to,
Right. I mean, you can roll up those windows and go for a ride. I was talking to a friend. He went on a motorcycle ride. Another friend went horseback riding with his young son. Went to his mother-in-law's house, got the horses out, mother-in-law was across yelling, "Hey, love you." But, I think it's a time where everything, I don't know. It's like everything is sped up, but also slowed down, I think.
Yeah.
And, I think that we have a lot of anxiety. I myself love to have a plan. I like to know exactly what I'm going to be doing on June 15th. Like, I'd like to know, I'll be home, or I'll be, doing a conference, but, my conferences have all been canceled. So, I mean, Vegas is still, I haven't heard anything about Vegas, but the other conferences have canceled. And you know what, that's as it should be. And so I guess we just have to, just give up the understanding that we cannot control the things that we can't control. Because isn't that like an AA thing, like a pledge, right? Control the things you can't. I mean, we can't control. Our destiny right now. I mean, we can control our path, but we don't know when and where we're going to get to the end of that path. And so we just have to be comfortable in the unknown, I guess.
I think the thing that we can control is wholeheartedly the most important. We can keep ourselves and our family from getting sick by just staying home and staying away. And as we talk about all these social ways to teach in this episode, I think my favorite thing I've seen posted recently was, and I wish I could remember who it was from. I'll try to think of it, and maybe we can post it somewhere. It said, we need to remember that this is not a social distancing time. This is a physical distancing time. And I thought that was great. And the comment in that was, the reason this person posted that was, he said, I was out on a walk today, and although everybody on the walk was making different paths to cross the street and get away from people, I waved and said hello to more people than I typically do on a walk. And I thought that was very powerful, that there's nothing saying that you can't say hello to someone, that you can't pick up the phone and give someone a call. You can't have a face-to-face conversation over Zoom like this. You need to physically distance yourself. Socially, we need to be more social,
more engaged,
and engaged than ever before as a species. We need to.
True.
You can't cut that off. So I know we're going to talk about a lot of different things today, and there's so many more probably that you and I don't even know about because we're not in the classroom right now. But you've been busy with a few ways. I've been busy with a few ways. My wife has been doing an awesome job here at home. Trisha's been rocking it with her class. So I kind of want to dive in and talk about the ways that teachers can help right now and then going forward. And I guess maybe the one to kick off with is one that you've done a lot of work with. We've talked about it before, but Seesaw kind of seems to be at the forefront of everybody's minds right now, I think.
Oh, look at your shirt you have on.
Oh my God, I didn't even do that on purpose. I was just wearing this
He's got,
today.
he's got a Seesaw jacket on.
We are, we love Seesaw. This is not a paid sponsorship. I should have worn a live, should have
Why
worn a
don't you
live studios t-shirt.
Dang it. Yeah, Seesaw is something that I have heard a lot about. And I heard about it from you. I heard about it from teachers at conferences about how this is a great classroom communication tool. It's great for parents at home. It's great for students. And teachers have been using it in their classroom for a while. I would say 3 or 4 years at least, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so when this stay-at-home thing happened, it just is a natural way to extend and send things home. It's something that's done on a device, whether it's a computer, a cell phone, a iPad, or a tablet, and it's just a way for teachers to communicate with their students, but also send them activities.
Right.
And so I know that there's a lot of those out there. There's something called Class Dojo, there's Class Tag, there's Google Classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know all of those tools, but from what I'm hearing is that Seesaw is really like a K-12 friendly platform. It allows for students to respond orally, in writing, in drawing. So there's lots of different ways in which students can respond. But one of the things that I really love is that students or teachers can also send videos to their class right there in the app. And so when we talk about social distancing, we also have to think about, you and I, before this started, we talked a little bit about how, everybody experiences things a different way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, there are those people in the world who take, that would be Harriet moaning. There are those people in the world who take events with some resilience, right? So something happens, they don't like it, they're not happy, but they can handle it, right? And then there are some people who don't have a lot of resilience. And so, and there's times when I have resilience and times when I don't. But if we think about parents, sometimes we're going to have parents who aren't very resilient, who aren't able to kind of roll with the punches. And so having a teacher kind of reach out to them, I think is going to be really meaningful. Most people in kindergarten, first grade, they send home a postcard before the school year starts, right? And like, I can't wait for you to be in my class. And the kids carry that postcard around, forever, right? It's in their notebook, it's in their backpack. They like treasure it. So we have to remember, we have to create those postcard moments so that we still let our students know, I'm still here for you. I still love you. But to have it in a way that is accessible on their own, like so students can handle it. It doesn't have to be the parent handing out things, right? Because the parents are busy, as you know, right? They're busy.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about an app like Seesaw is that, yes, the child, if they're a younger child, needs the parent to set it up. Hopefully you already had it set up in your classroom to use there, but if not, it's as easy as putting in a code, really, after you download an app. And then I know from experience that the kids can take that and run with it. There's really nothing that, I mean, it's great to have the parents involved with it too, don't get me wrong, but Seesaw has so many things besides just the activities. The kids can draw pictures and notes back to the teacher, and they can take photos of themselves, things going on, and send them back to the teacher. So it is keeping this, while we mentioned the physical distance thing going, we're not limiting the social distance, because the kids now, without jumping on an app like social media, can stay in contact with their teacher safely.
Very safe, and a very safe platform. And speaking of parents, if you're out there listening right now and you're like, well, that's great, but I started the year with this platform, and so maybe your platform doesn't allow for that responding and students recording their voice. maybe you have a little bit of FOMO, like, gosh, I wish I just started Seesaw, right? But I'm stuck with XYZ because that's how we started the year. And we don't need to send parents one more thing. Here's
Right.
what I would say. I would say, if you're doing some video chatting with your students, I would set up several times where you can video chat with your parents as well, because
Mhm.
they need some support. And maybe you just have, 5 parents on at a time, have them, use that scheduling tool. What was the scheduling tool you use?
Sign Up Genius.
Sign Up Genius. Use
Yeah.
Sign Up Genius for parents to kind of schedule and just do a Zoom call and just do a check-in. Like, how are you doing? Am I sending too much work? Am I sending not enough work? How are you doing? And then, by the way, I would like to talk to you about perhaps this other tool. It's going to take you about 15 minutes, to get all set up. And then after that, you're out of the picture. You're not going to have to be involved other than, having your child reinforcing routines. But as far as downloading, printing, all of that stuff, the student can handle on their own. So
Yeah, that's a great idea. I've never thought about doing that, but I think parents would appreciate that. And it might just be a good adult conversation time. I mean, a lot of these parents,
right,
I know in my experience, there's a lot of single parent families, or especially in now times, if a parent is a healthcare worker, they might not even be seeing their child right now.
I know.
So that'd be a great way just for parents to get some adult conversation, whether you want
Right.
to turn that into like a happy hour or a wine and dine type thing with your
Yes. I
that could be
mean,
good too.
you don't have to worry about drunk driving because you can just sit down with your box
Just
of
sitting
wine,
there. Yeah.
and a straw.
we
Um,
have we have one of my favorite, well, Trish and I's favorite little local establishments is this little wine bar in our town, and they serve food and they have like specialty wines. It's a very cool little atmosphere. They have live music all the time. Well, they're shut down, but they're doing a delivery service, so you can actually
Nice.
order their food and bottles of wine, and they deliver it right to your house.
Back up the truck. No, beep, beep, beep.
All right, maybe we should get on that conversation.
I know.
I love that
Well,
idea of including the parents in that. And how easy would that be then if you
right,
are stepping into something new, whether it be Seesaw, Google Classroom, anything, to be able to show it right there to the parents? Because
right,
honestly, that's the toughest part of this is, yes,
right.
we're sending home all kinds of work and we're having the kids do all these things, but without us there, there's a lot of stuff, even just as simple as terminology, that the
Yes,
parents might not understand
yes,
right now.
yes. I feel that we've had lots of episodes of parents as partners, right? So we've talked
Mhm.
about that a lot. But I also feel like if we don't involve them in the conversation, there will still be conversations happening, but it may not involve the teacher. And I feel like that is, that might be a Facebook rant. It might be, a phone call to so-and-so, frustration, where if you make yourself available, you have maybe just schedule a half an hour a week, use that Sign Up Genius so people can sign in and just know that, hey, listen, on, Thirsty Thursday. No, I'm kidding. But, Taco Tuesday is when we're going to be having, a parent check-in, and that I'm available in other times, but that's just a routine that you're going to find me, at this time each day.
That's
And,
pretty cool. Yeah.
and I would actually give it a couple of different times. So if you're going to do Tuesday at
Mhm.
5 p.m., maybe you're going to do a Thursday at 8 a.m. so that you can get those people, if they're still working, if they're in one of those essential, they'll have a couple of options. So
Yeah.
I do.
Trisha, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Well, I was going
Go.
to say the scheduling is a great idea, and Trisha figured that out this week. She's been doing just like, hey, let's jump on here and here, but she's got, beginning this week with her class. When I mentioned Trisha, everybody, that's my wife's a second grade teacher.
Yeah.
Um,
Lovely.
she's so much better teacher or person than I will ever be in my life. But she's been doing like 2 scheduled times a day, and she reached out to the parents first. So if you're brand new to distance learning, I know some schools are just starting this week.
Yeah.
We kind of had a trial run with it a couple weeks ago with our own kids because we were on spring break and the week before spring break. But
Right.
she kind of played around with different ideas and different apps and whatnot. But now she's got it scheduled so that every day at 2 times, based on parent feedback from emails or phone calls, she'll jump on and she teaches the same little lessons twice a day. And that way, parents that can't get on at this time or it's not overloading the system at that time,
Right.
It's also a lot easier to teach remotely with a group of 9 than it is a group of 20, so
Yes.
there's not a lot of
Yes.
questions going back and forth. And I think
Yes.
yesterday was the first official day of those 2 scheduled times. And I think she said she had 18 out of 20 students that were able to
Wow.
do it at one of those times. And if not,
Wow.
they're recorded and you can share them.
Right.
With that being said, I want to say, and I don't know if you've heard from teachers a lot, but I know there's a lot of schools who are not allowing this kind of stuff because of safety of kids, or also not everybody has the access. I mean, one of the coolest things I've seen is a friend of mine who lives a couple towns away she's in a very, very small town, but you could easily do this. So I think like snail mail is becoming alive and well again, and people are sending letters to each other. And she's been
Wow.
getting handwritten letters, like either in the mail or her students are dropping them off at her door. And then she's writing letters and dropping them off at her students' doors without making the physical contact, but just
Yeah.
letting her know that she's still here and available. And I think that's really cool.
I think it's really cool. And I've seen, different videos where teachers are going by, and visiting, and has a little
Like doing a
sign,
little parade.
their little, yeah. I mean, I just think, I don't think we'll ever be the same after this. I just don't think we'll ever be the same. But if we can look for some of those things that make us better people, make us more
Yeah.
compassionate, I think we'll come out, perhaps better humans as a result of this, right?
Totally. Yeah. And I want to talk about our sponsor, the Live Studios, and their journals.
Yes. Oh my
Cute book
gosh.
for parents
Yes.
and kids. Before we do though, I have to mention I've got one book upstairs and I cannot remember because I'm reading it right now. But this is another one. I'm not very familiar with Google Classrooms, but this is a book by an author,
Oh,
Alice Keeler. And this is
okay.
Teaching Math with Google Apps. This is available through Dave Burgess Consulting,
Oh,
who we both know and love very well. But he's got a ton of books. There's a bunch of books all about like digital teaching. And there's another one upstairs, and I cannot remember the title off my head, but it's sitting right by my bed because I've been reading it. I think it's getting started with Google Classroom, or
okay.
50 tips for Google Classroom, whatever it may be. But Alice Keeler, if you listeners search that name, Alice Keeler, Keeler, or just
Okay.
go to daveburgessconsulting.com. You're going to see some really, really good books about kicking off Google Classrooms and using tech and how to keep tech alive right now, because it's needed, right? Not
Right.
kids just in front of screens all day long, but using it to the full advantage of teaching distantly.
I totally think that word you just said should have been a word.
Distantly, is that who cares, right?
It's a word.
But I think these are perfect, and not only just to read anytime, but now that you're home teachers, you might have some time. Now's a better time than ever to pick up a book.
Do some PD, right? Some self-growth. You were talking about, tech and teachers. If I were still in the classroom, I would have probably been the last person to sign up for some of these apps. I mean,
Right.
just because, kicking and screaming. It's not something that I think, oh, good, more tech. I'm never that one. There are those teachers who are just, give me everything. And then there were those who said, can't we just do it like we used to do it?
Right.
I'm probably more when it comes to tech versus non-tech, in that, I like my routines. I like things to be a certain way. I'm not really happy with when you have a million things to do, to add a million in one, which is learning a new platform.
I think that's the hard part, not just for teachers, but parents too, right?
Yes. But I also feel that as a result of this forced like workshop experiment, I feel like we're going to be embracing more tech next year, because
Mhm.
I think we'll get through those sticky parts. We'll get through that, where you're just screaming at your computer moments, and it'll become more routine. And I think we'll be better for it. Seesaw is the one that I keep coming back to. I love that there's a whole bunch of activities that are already loaded in there. One click, you can add it in there.
Right.
I've made some. You and I are in the process of making some additional
I'm
ones.
so excited about this.
I am too. And so, instead of spending your weekend, teachers, cutting out and laminating, you can maybe not, you'll probably still do some of that, but you'll probably do, because we don't want their whole day is not going to be we're thinking next year, we don't want their whole day in front of a device.
Right.
No. But if you could have a center rotation, that's just one less thing or two less things that you have to do on a monthly basis. So,
well, now's better time than ever to try your hand at those things, right?
Right.
Like you've got time to experiment with some of these apps. And I know Trisha has been trying it with and you did too, I think, Deedee, where you created like a fake student in your teacher account. And
yes,
you can kind of play around with what it looks like before you ever send it out to your students.
exactly.
And if you sign up for Seesaw, you get a I think they call it sample student that you can play around and test with before you send an activity out or before you ever try sending it to parents, so you know exactly what it's going to look like.
Right.
And when you mention making it as easy as possible and keeping them out of the devices, that's what I love about Alive Studios. And we keep saying like we're going to get them. I can't speak enough about this company and their technology and the way they're helping people right now, because they've really stepped up their game. I mean, this product has been around for years, but I think now more than ever, their journals are what really can drive activity at home, because it combines the tech that we do need to teach right now, some of us, but it also puts hands-on activities and kind of brings it all to life. So if you don't know, listeners, if you go to alivestudiozoo.com, you're going to see, and we'll put the link in the show notes as well.
Right.
It's really fantastic journals. And I've got a video that's floating around on social media too. And I think we can link that as well, right?
Right. I think we totally can. I know you used it more in your classroom, so you're much more well-versed in the Alive Studio experience. So as I understand, parents, if they're listening, you can get the journal. It's like $10, right?
Yeah, $10 or $19.99 for two of the math and the reading. And that's the cool part. There's an ELA version and a math version.
And then the app is free, right? And so can you explain to people who are listening, what does this do? Like, what is Alive Studio?
Yeah, because not everybody knows, right? They're
right.
I think even though they've been around for years, they're still a newer company and they're still kind of making their name in this space, if that makes sense at all. But so in the classroom, if you're a teacher listening to the classroom, I definitely suggest checking out their full classroom suite of items. But what we want to focus on now, because there's no point in that right now unless you want to just play with it at home and have fun, because it's really cool stuff. Their product that was originally designed just for a classroom has kind of grown to something that parents and teachers are going to use tremendously right now for whatever time this lasts. And what they are these journals that, like Deedee mentioned, are $10 a piece. I say a piece because you might want to order multiples for multiple kids at your house, but they also have two versions. They have an ELA or a letters journal Alive is what they call it, and they have a My Math journal Alive, kindergarten and pre-K versions right now. And then you download this free app. So once you have the journals, you download their free app that goes along with it. And as the children are practicing skills in their journals, whether it be tracing or writing letters or writing stories or matching beginning sounds with pictures, I mean, there's a whole wealth of activities inside each journal that go along with their 26 animals. And in our beginning, we talk about our sponsor as bringing animals to life, and that's really what they do. So with the free app, you just basically scan this augmented reality code inside these journals, and the animal that you've been writing about and learning about and counting with in the math journal will come to life on the device, but it makes it look like it's with your child in the room of your house. And
it's pretty cool.
It's so cool. I still, people always ask me like, oh my gosh, how does that work? Like, I have no idea how it works.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's easy to do. So it really is. And I know you question parents getting them. And that's the thing. The coolest part right now is that parents can pick them up, have them at home. And I always tell people when I talk about Alive Studios that the learning never stops, because even though the child has finished all the pages of their journal, the cool part is too, as they go through this journal, it's not just, when we say journal, it's not just tracing and writing. I mean, there's tracing, there's lettering, there's writing stories, there's matching sounds, but then there's also some animal science built into it, because you have to kind of study on your own about these different animals and through their apps, and you learn about the animal habitat and their diet and, where they live, what they eat, and how they live, the animal themselves. And then
Right.
you draw pictures to add those things in, and the app brings that to life. So the app brings the animal to life, but the app also has some learning activities in. So in the writing app, there's like a handwriting app that it's one of my favorite things in the world because it doesn't allow your child to practice writing the letters the wrong way, which is the downfall of some handwriting apps, right?
Right. Right.
And then the math app, it has multiple ways and images and videos to have kids practice counting and number sense. And it's using tally marks and 10 frames and numbers and number words. It's just a
Perfect.
really, really, really cool product. We have to give a shout out to Live Studios and our friends Cynthia,
Yeah.
LA, Stacy, the whole team, Faith.
Yes.
It's a company
They're
that is
lovely.
all rooted in tech and education from different backgrounds, but they want to help teachers and parents right now.
Right. So, we always talk about instruction in the, oftentimes the what we have to teach. There's so many whats we have to teach, right? But when you can have a hook, right, that
Mhm.
makes that what become like the favorite part of the day, then that's where really great learning happens and
Right.
is sustained, right?
So yeah, go to alivestudiozoo.com. You'll see the whole thing. Deedee, I know we'll link in the show notes a quick
Yeah.
link to the journals themselves. We'll also feed the video that I put together, kind of showing you how it comes to life in your home
Yes.
or classroom. But
Yes.
yeah, we can't say enough about Alive Studio. So thank you to their team for being a sponsor of our show too.
Yeah,
We love that.
exactly, exactly. And then we were also talking about Flipgrid, and you said that's something that that Trisha's using with her classroom.
Yeah, you know what? I had heard about Flipgrid a couple years ago when I joined this teacher group, and we were kind of like a positive teacher message, like reaching out from actually, yeah. So it was reaching from teacher to teacher, but we also started like a virtual pen pal with our friend Ray, who Ray. We did an episode with her.
Yes.
In my class, she was a junior high teacher, is a junior high teacher, and I was in kindergarten, and our classes used Flipgrid to have like virtual pen pals, and it was really, really cool. So if you don't know what Flipgrid is, it's a free app. It's a free website. Deedee's got it pulled up right there for you. Yeah, if you go to flipgrid.com, here's the easy way to say it. It's like a social media without the whole world seeing it for your classroom. And
Right.
you create what's called a grid. So I'm going to give you the example of one my daughter used. So my daughter's junior high band teacher has been using Flipgrid. And a couple weeks ago, she sent one home, or whenever this all started, she sent one home and as a challenge. And it said, today, I want you to share with the band something that makes you and your family happy. What do you like to do at home? And we just happened to be, because this is before the whole stay in place or shelter in place was put into effect. We were
Uh-huh.
at my mother-in-law's house, and we were sitting around her kitchen table playing dominoes. And Olivia said, I want to record this because I love playing games. I'm like, great. So she went in the other room, and we could hear her talking, and she recorded like a selfie on her phone in the app of her saying, something that makes me happy is playing board games with my family. And that saves in her I guess the clip that she's working on, right? Well,
Right.
then in that same little series, so she hasn't submitted anything back to the teacher yet, she came into the kitchen and took a picture of all of us sitting around the table. And then on that picture, she can edit it with stickers. She can draw little lines on there, and then she can edit a voiceover. So she voiced over that picture saying with arrows, like, this is my grandma, this is my brother Landon, this is my mom, and she went through the whole family and kind of told what we were doing.
Oh, how nice.
And then she re-recorded herself and said, so that's what makes me happy, playing games with my family. And then before she submits that back to the grid, it all compiles into one little
Little
clip.
clip.
Yeah. So then she posts it back to the teacher, but all the kids in the class can see it as well and
Right.
respond back and forth. And it's so fun. And I know that sounds like a lot of steps, but here's another
Yeah.
example. So Trisha, you mentioned, is using it in second grade. And she's just been doing like, hey, boys and girls, I miss you guys. I want to hear a funny joke from you. And all the second graders have been sharing these ridiculously silly but make no sense jokes, right? Back and
Right.
forth. And they've even figured out how to draw on the screen and add stickers. And then they can comment back and forth on each other's as well. So if you told a joke to the class, Deedee, our teacher could see it, but I, as your friend in the class, could also post a grid or a flip grid back to you saying, like, Deedee, I love that joke. That was a great one. I could put stickers on the screen. And it's such a cool tool. So
Super cool. I have a question.
yeah,
So if I'm student and I'm posting something to the Flipgrid, does the teacher have to approve it before it's visible to everybody, or does it automatically just go?
I don't know that. I think there's
Okay.
probably an option to do so. I would hope there's an option to do so.
I
I
had
don't
a,
know.
I had a year where I would have wanted to vet all of those jokes before they went public. I'm just saying.
That's a good
I,
one. And if you're listening to this, maybe you can share with us on social media if you know the answer to that one. But I
well,
would holler at Trisha, but she's busy teaching upstairs. So
yeah, yeah. Well, what other things? I mean, I guess, a few things that we talked about. We definitely want to talk about some other things, but to one, stay connected to people.
Mhm.
And when I say connected, I'm not talking about flipping through Instagram or Facebook, right? Because I'm telling you what, I could spend 3 days going through all of those and being connected, but not being connected, right? So
Right.
reaching out to people, having some, you know, every day I'm doing in my Facebook group, I'm doing a Facebook Live where I'm just touching base with everybody, what's working, what's frustrating, share your victories, share your worries.
Mhm.
Um, I think the only thing that we can just know is that everybody's in this boat.
Yep.
There's not, you know, every kindergartner's in this boat, every first grade teacher's in this boat. And we will get to where we need to get. It might just be a little bit longer next year. We might experience students coming in at the beginning of the year who first grade, they weren't where they would have been the previous year, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we just have to know that, hey, that's what it is. Hopefully this is a once in a lifetime kind of event for our society.
Mhm.
I think the last time there was a major pandemic, it was, was
It
it
was 1912,
1919?
18.
Yeah, it was in the early teens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll just try to forgive yourself, do what you can, and then let it go. And then stop eating your feelings. I'm actually
I
saying that to me.
I
You
was gonna
guys,
say, what are you trying?
no, I'm saying that to me. Like if you're going to watch this on YouTube, just go ahead and check out the next episode. It'll be the episode of the incredible growing Deedee Wills.
We can
I'm just
start.
saying.
We'll start tracking ourselves and see what happens. But no, I think one thing you mentioned was just try it out and see. I think it's
Yeah.
really important to remember right now too that the mental health of our students is a huge thing to keep track of. So a friend of mine posted something this morning that was like a list of what I don't know if it was the Illinois Department of Health shared out, like what is like considered okay for the amount of work a child should be doing at what grade level.
Oh, okay.
um that was a really cool graphic to see. But the big part of it was remember your children's mental health as well. Like if they
Yeah.
don't finish all the problems of that worksheet right now, is that really what our concern should be?
It
Right?
will be
Like
okay.
it's going to be okay. So teachers, you need to
Yeah.
remember that too, that you don't need to be doing everything. Like you don't need to be using all of these tools we've talked about, or even the other
No.
millions that are out there. And I think one thing to say about all these companies right now that's really cool is I feel like this has brought together education as a whole. Like I haven't seen any one company saying, you need to use our software because we're the best, or you should be. I've seen companies like praising each other and saying like,
Mm.
Zoom is doing good things for video calls, while Seesaw is doing really good things for activities, and Alive Studios is doing really good things for at-home fun, right? Like
Right.
remember that its tools are all here for a reason. Like if one was
Right.
the best and it was the only go-to, it would be the only one available. But
That would be it.
yeah, so just explore, ask questions, reach out to teachers on social media, and then just keep reaching out to your kids is the biggest one. Just stay in contact socially, not
Yes.
physically.
Yes. Yes. Yes to all of those things. All of
Yes,
them.
yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you, listeners. Thank you to
Yes.
Alive Studios for helping us out and sponsoring this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deedee, for all you've been doing. I know I've been watching your videos and learning a lot along the way. Maybe this is time where I have to fully admit that Deedee's been teaching me a thing or two about some software I've used for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen. I've never really seen Deedee frustrated with me until I said, "Hey, can you please spoon feed me these directions?"
I'm never frustrated with
No,
you.
it was great. But no, it's been great keeping this alive and well too. So thank you to all of you listeners who are still continuing to support us. We're going to try to help you all as much as we can.
Yeah. All right. Take care, guys.
See ya.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Classroom Collaborative Podcast.
If you are enjoying these episodes, please make sure that you subscribe wherever you are finding them.
And share and rate it so others can find it as well.
We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for listening.
Bye.